Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the National Weather Service Atlanta Forecast Office's weekly weather briefing. My name is Sid King, and I'll be giving you a rundown on what we can expect over the coming week, starting February 3rd, 2022. So rain chances are increasing over the area ahead of a strong cold front which is moving eastward towards Georgia. Rainfall amounts of between 1 and 2 inches are expected, with locally higher amounts up to 2.5 inches or more in the higher elevations of far northeast Georgia. This could lead to localized flooding concerns, mostly near creeks and streams, urban areas, and low-lying areas. As a result, we have a flood watch in effect north of I-20 until 1 p.m. Friday. We also can't rule out the possibility of isolated thunderstorms this afternoon and into Friday. And a marginal risk has been issued by the Storm Prediction Center in West Georgia for later today and tonight. A few storms could become strong to severe, mostly capable of producing damaging wind gusts as the main threat. Cold temperatures are going to return this weekend behind the cold front. We were expecting a light wintry mix possible behind it, and that's trending more unlikely as we continue to look at the forecast going into Saturday and Sunday. In portions of northeast Georgia. And then after that, primarily dry and benign conditions are expected early next week. So here's our synoptic setup. We have moist, warm and humid Gulf air across the much of the southeast. There is a strong low pressure in northern Alabama, which is currently moving northeastward, and a cold front extending southward into the Mississippi River Valley is going to continue to advance eastward towards the area. As a result of this setup, we're going to be anticipating wet conditions today and into tomorrow. Look at our satellite imagery. You can see the boundary on the left-hand side of the screen here is a good look at the frontal boundary from earlier today as it's moving through Texas and Oklahoma, and then another secondary boundary out ahead of it, moving into the lower Mississippi River Valley. This is spreading widespread cloud cover over much of the southeast. A look at radar. We have a couple of different waves. The first, we're getting a little wave of light showers this morning and into the afternoon, and that's going to give way into this heavier group of showers, which is currently over Mississippi. That's going to be approaching the area during the later afternoon into the overnight hours as the main cold front stretches into the area. So here's what that looks like just from a simulation. We have a simulated radar loop from the high resolution rapid model that's going to be moving into Alabama and then down southeastward through our forecast area. So here's later afternoon as the bulk of it pushes into the area and then moves south and eastward through the overnight hours and into Friday morning. So what that means for our rain chances today is we have about a 100% chance of rain across far north Georgia, with diminishing chances to the south and east as most of the heaviest precipitation is going to remain across the north today with that system pushing through. And then by tonight, as that continues to spread into the area, chances are going to be a lot more widespread. Basically a 80 to 100% chance across the majority of our forecast area. Another thing that's going to be worth keeping an eye on during the afternoon and overnight hours is in a broad region out ahead of the cold front, we're expecting winds to start to increase. So wind gusts of mainly 20 to 30 miles per hour are forecast ahead of the approaching front. While this is below wind advisory criteria, winds could still blow around unsecured objects, so this will still be something to keep an eye on as the cold front approaches. Another thing that's important to mention is the severe weather potential. Along with the widespread rain, there's going to be some isolated thunderstorms embedded within, starting this afternoon and during the overnight hours ahead of the front. SPC has diagnosed a marginal risk across portions of West Georgia, and then just a general thunder risk across the majority of our forecast area. Instability is fortunately going to be weak, but with the increased shear ahead of the front, the damaging wind gust potential is going to be our main severe weather threat, with any strong to severe thunderstorms that occur. Here's our rain chances on Friday. You can see the axis of the most likely precipitation is moving south and east, with 80 to 100% chances extending from Columbus up to Athens and then south, and then diminishing chances to the north and west as the cold front pushes through the area. Here's our severe weather potential on Friday. Not as robust as today, mostly as the cold front moves into central Georgia. Isolated thunderstorms will remain possible ahead of the front, not as much behind the front. And then severe storms are not expected on Friday, but you can't rule out a stronger storm that could produce some gusty winds. So with all that precipitation for Thursday and Friday, here's a look at what our rainfall totals are forecast to look like. So we're expecting an additional 1 to 2 inches across north and central Georgia. If you look across the far northeast and the higher elevations, we could see locally higher amounts of 2.5 inches or more in those areas. As a result of these totals, we do have a flood watch in effect roughly north of I-20 until 1 p.m. on Friday. The period of heaviest rain is expected as that wave we mentioned earlier moves in later today into tonight and then through the early morning hours on Friday. The expected rainfall could result in some localized flash flooding concerns, especially around creeks and streams, urban areas, and low-lying areas, especially in the areas contained within the flood watch. So at this time, none of our river gauges are near action stage or flood stage. However, taking a look at our forecast, a few gauges in northwest Georgia are expected to reach action stage or bank full over the next couple of days, and then a couple of isolated gauges in the orange color here may also rise into minor flood stage as well. But overall, a widespread river flooding threat is not anticipated at this time. Now shifting gears to this weekend, the cold front exits the area to the southeast by Friday. A cooler air mass sets up behind the front, allowing for a return to sub-freezing temperatures during the early morning hours. A weak disturbance may allow for some light precipitation Saturday into Sunday morning. And when we get below freezing Sunday morning, we had been mentioning the possibility of a light wintry mix. That is currently trending more and more unlikely to have an overlap between the light rain and the freezing temperatures Saturday night into Sunday morning. So here's Saturday morning. You can see our temperatures are dropping into the 20s north of the I-85 corridor. And as a point of interest, with some breezy conditions behind the front, our wind chills could also drop into the teens in those areas too. The precipitation pushes south and east before our freezing temperatures get there on Friday night into Saturday morning. Then on Saturday during the daytime, highs get up into the upper 40s and 50s. We do have a slight chance of rain lingering across central Georgia, about 15 to 20% during the daytime. Saturday night and into Sunday, low temperatures drop below freezing once again across the majority of the area. With a weak low pressure moving across the area, there is a slight chance, less than 20% of rain across the area. These have continued to come down from forecast package to forecast package, so this is trending less likely that there will be an overlap area here, which I've outlined in blue, of rain-snow mix. It wouldn't be a surprise to me if within the next couple of forecasts, if we continue to trend this way, we could remove that altogether. So in any case, no accumulations of any frozen precipitation are expected at this time. And then finally on Sunday, precip moves out by sunrise on Sunday. That's setting up a relatively dry start to next week. Highs once again in the upper 40s to mid 50s. Here's our 7-day outlook across the area. You can see we've got our warmest day across the area is today with that warm and humid air mass. And then we drop into mainly well into the 20s and low 30s behind the cold front by Friday night into Saturday morning, and then high temperatures generally in the upper 40s to low 50s, steadily climbing through midweek next week. We don't have any drought concerns across the area at this time, and rainfall today and tomorrow is going to mitigate any concerns developing over the next week. And then the 6 to 10 day outlook, we are during this time expecting to be generally about a 40 to 50% chance of being drier than normal, and then about a 33 to 40% chance across the majority of our area being cooler than normal. So to sum things up, rain chances continue to increase across our area ahead of a strong cold front. The more likely and heavier rain is going to be arriving later this afternoon and into the overnight hours. Rainfall amounts of 1 to 2 inches are expected, with locally higher amounts up to 2.5 inches or above in the higher elevations of far northeast Georgia. This could lead to some localized flash flooding concerns, mostly near creeks and streams, urbanized areas, and low-lying areas. As a result, we have a flood watch in effect north of I-20 until about 1 p.m. Friday. We can't rule out the possibility of isolated thunderstorms this afternoon and into the day Friday. And for the rest of the day, the SPC has issued a marginal risk in West Georgia, and with limited instability but increasing shear, a few storms could become strong to severe, capable of producing damaging wind gusts, especially in western Georgia. Cold temperatures will return as a cooler air mass sets up behind the cold front. We had been mentioning the potential for light wintry mix in portions of northeast Georgia. However, rain chances continue to lower during the overnight hours Saturday into Sunday morning, so this is looking more and more unlikely, and we may remove that from the forecast entirely within the next couple of days. And then after that, primarily dry and benign conditions are expected next week. That concludes our weekly weather briefing. Here's our contact information if you ever need to get in touch with us. On behalf of all of us here at the National Weather Service in Atlanta, we'd like to thank you for your attention, and we hope you have a great week.